Hello, welcome everybody to the Superpower of Confidence podcast. In our podcast, we support a vision of confidence that is not arrogance, but rather a vision of confidence that is humble and self-loving and is okay with failures and setbacks. And this is what we're discussing with our guests. And today, my guest is Isa Tschugmall.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome to the podcast, Isa.
Thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure. So before we start, Isa, why don't you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yeah, thank you. I'm Isa. It's also Isa in the middle. It's my kind of brand name. I'm a safari guide and safari entrepreneur within Southern Africa. This means Botswana, South Africa, and Namibia.
Yeah.
And I do have a non-profit organization for female empowerment within Botswana.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm kind of following where I want to go.
Okay.
Following my dreams, yeah.
And you're originally from Switzerland?
Switzerland, yeah,
yes.
sorry. I'm Swiss, yeah.
Cool. So what is Isa in the middle? Why is it in the middle?
6 years ago, I studied in China, in Beijing, and in German we call it Land der Mitte, like in the middle, country of the middle. So it's Isa in the middle, and now this name actually fits in everywhere. In every situation, I'm always kind of in between, in the middle of life, in the middle of projects, whatever, yeah. So
okay.
And it's easier than Tschugmall. So
fair enough. That's a good just for that it's a great reason.
Yeah. Hey.
So listen, we got lots of things to talk about because I've always been impressed with your entrepreneurial journey since I've met you and the life decisions that you took. And then also it seems through your organization, you're also helping women gain more confidence in their skills or their place in the world. So we'll have lots of topics. But we'll start with you. So you made a big decision 6 years ago. You had a typical Swiss career. You worked in finance, and then all of a sudden made that decision to be a safari guide.
Yeah, it was interesting. I worked in finance. I had an awesome flat, the Lake of Zürich. Was in a good relationship kind of beginning, and I had everything was settled.
Yeah.
And I was almost, I can say proud of it.
Yeah.
And then I realized I'm bored.
Okay.
I bought a book at the airport, and I thought it's random.
Yeah.
But it was actually, I think it was important that I bought this book where a woman became a safari guide. And I read it within 2 days. And then I decided that's what I also can do. But in this point of time, I thought more it's like a holiday out of comfort trip.
Okay.
So I contacted this author 10 times until she answered.
So what was the book?
It's Frühstück mit Elefanten.
So breakfast with elephants.
Exactly.
I'm getting confident in my German.
Yeah. Well done. And then I contacted her, and in the end she answered, and she was like, look, I haven't been to this camp in Botswana, but I can recommend it. I heard a lot of good things about it. So I contacted them, and then I booked and I paid. And then I informed my family and friends that I will go to Africa and to do a safari guide training.
Okay.
But I've never been in Africa before, or I haven't been on a safari.
Okay, so it's not like you had experience with safari and decided this is what you're going to do your entire life. So you decided, okay, first I want to do the training and see how it feels. I
thought, come on, this is maybe it is a training, but I'm still a tourist. They can't really just throw me out there in the wilderness and see how I survive.
Yeah.
But they actually did.
Really?
More or less, yes.
Oh my God.
Not so sure if they were aware my level of knowledge and stuff like this. So now it's more or less.
What doesn't kill you make you stronger.
Yeah. I was singing this song a lot out there. No, I mean nowadays there are more and more Western people coming down to Botswana or Africa and doing this training, time out, whatever, from your job. But when I started, I was the only girl and I was the only Western woman there
Yeah.
with no knowledge. And
That's crazy.
yeah, it was crazy. When I always thought that's not going to happen. And when I arrived there and I realized, wow, that's really a training camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess, okay, so because I didn't know the full story, so I thought you made the decision. It's like, this is a change of life, but actually maybe it is more helpful when you're like, okay, I'm just gonna try this little training, see how it goes. Or did you already have a vision that you're going fully into this?
It's funny or interesting. I thought no, but then someone asked me, but haven't you figured out before if there are job opportunities and how it could work? And to be honest, yes, I did research. I was doing the research.
Yeah, okay.
But because this idea was so crazy, I haven't really told the people maybe my real intention. So I went there, and in the beginning I was like, okay, this is just crazy what I'm doing here. And I was laughing like every night because I was just like, so I'm so sorry, but this is just like, what have you done? But in the third evening after I was guiding, I realized this is it.
Yeah.
And I've never had this experience.
How long did it take you to be guiding? You said the third night you were guiding.
You know, they don't care. They just tell you in the evening before, like, okay, tomorrow, tent number 1 and 2 is guiding. Good luck. And I was like,
I'm so sorry, I'm just reacting live, but I'm just imagining myself in this situation.
Yeah, and you know, I had to drive this big car on the left side in sand with all the boys at the back for 4 hours. And I had to find my way back. So I was like, this is just insane. And what should I tell you for 4 hours? I mean, I can talk a lot, but still I have to talk about animals. So I've seen zebras and giraffes for the first time, like in real. So I was super excited. So they said it was a really, really kind of good drive because they were like, they've seen the bush with new eyes because I was excited about everything.
But were they clients or just other students?
There were other
course?
Students. I mean, they were already trainers and safari guides, and they only did the exam or the certification.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I mean, they were guiding for 20 years, some of them. And one guy was actually a professional like tracker from the military. So and myself, and I was like,
oh my God.
Yeah, and so it was actually during the break where we had coffee time, and there was this elephant dung on the ground, and my trainer gave me the task for my guiding hours. He wants that I talk about dung or shit.
Dung.
Who
am I kidding? Shit.
So I was like, okay, at least there is shit everywhere, so I can talk about it. Yeah. And I took this old elephant dung, and it fell apart.
Yeah.
And within this dung, there was this termites. Yeah. And termites are actually decomposing and bringing the nutrition back to the soil.
Okay.
And the soil is sand, and without this decomposing process, there would be no grass.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, and because of this, we have the grass, and because of the grass, we have the antelopes, and because of the antelopes, we have the lions, hyenas, we have the vultures, and then with the rain, when there is a kill, they eat, and with the rain, it goes back to soil. And when I had this end product, it was also the beginning of something.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I realized that this is a perfect circle.
Yeah.
But I'm as a human being, I'm not part of it. And in this moment, this really hurt me. When I realized I have a clue about finance, about everything, but I forgot the basic. I'm not part of something big anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm so deconnected that it hurt me that I realized I know nothing about life, actually.
Yeah. And you decided to go full into it.
Well, I went back to my tent in this evening, and I was like crying because I realized, oh my goodness, this is like, what should I do? Yeah. And I knew that this was so crazy, no one would understand. So, and then I was like, okay, Isa, let's just sleep over it and see what happens. And the next day I realized, okay, I feel so home, and this is where I want to be. And then I asked myself, okay, how are the chances that I can come back? What could I do? And then I was like, okay, it's still crazy. And you know, there is this woman, Maasai, the white Maasai, Maybe you heard about it. It's a Swiss lady who went to Kenya and fell in love and then changed her life.
Okay.
So I thought if I do this now and I come back, everyone is like, you're the second Maasai. So why Maasai? So I was like, I can't do it. Yeah, but then I made myself a promise when I was in China. Okay. So that's where my story is connected, and Isa in the middle fits in.
Yeah.
And this promise is your heart is free if you have the courage to follow it.
Yeah, okay.
And I have a tattoo, which is the symbolic kind of thing for this sentence. Okay. And when I was having my bush shower and I looked at my tattoo, I was like, well, I made myself a promise. Yeah. And if I really, really want to be true to myself, I have to stick to this promise. Yeah. And this means my heart says yes now. So I just have to quit my job. Yeah.
So you had a really strong emotional motivation and connection to do this step. Okay. Yeah. So you quit your job.
Yeah, well, I came home, and when I was flying home, I thought, and my parents were picking me up at the airport, and I was just doing a mind map, like, okay, what is my decision? What is the influence? Blah, blah, blah. And, with my parents, I know it's really important for them that I have a pension fund and stuff like this. So I was like, okay, how should I?
They're very Swiss, right? Yeah.
So when I arrived, my parents picked me up, and I started to crying. And my father looked at me, and he's like, oh, no, you're going again. I was like, yes. And at the same evening, I quit my apartment. I started to give up and sell everything within 2 months.
Wow.
And then I started to live on couches because I was still working in finance. No one is quitting their job before the bonus is paid.
Okay.
No, and I also...
So you hadn't lost completely your smart.
No. No, and I also thought, okay, I'm going to sign up for the walking with weapon training, which is a whole month, the Trails Guide. And this is the toughest part, and I thought if I'm still gonna like it and survive it, I'm gonna make the final decision and quit my job and then see where it goes.
Okay. Yeah. So you did the weapons training.
Yeah.
Which I guess we'll get into. Does weapon give you confidence? I guess.
No, that's wrong. That's
really?
Like false confidence.
It's false confidence. Yeah, false confidence.
Then you overstep your kind of knowledge, strengths, knowledge, everything, your skills, because that's just your ego speaking then.
You feel overconfident. Yeah. You feel arrogant.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's going to kill you out there.
You decide to go there, but then you have, so you have to learn a lot about the bush, but also, setting up a business in Africa, and then convincing clients to come to your safaris. Like, what, how did you go about finding your confidence in this journey?
Yeah, because there was not a plan. I had no plan. Okay. The first time in my life, I went there for more months. I was working I was just telling my story everyone, and also in Africa, and my ideas, and I contacted everyone I've heard of before. So they told me, we need someone who can actually help us with marketing and stuff like this for the European market. So I went to a lodge to help them out. So I gained more bush time. I went to gain more and have more courses, more exams.
Okay, so you worked for companies that already existed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But not as a safari guide.
Yeah.
It was not possible. No. And then I came home and had really zero plan. And my plan was never to have a company. But I just had then finally, after a year, more or less, done all the courses, which was the first step already. I thought I'm never going to make it. And then I was just here and people told me Isa, your life is just upside down and no one understands what you're actually doing. Why aren't you giving a presentation? And I was like, let's do a presentation. And, I just did it I prepared it the night before, and then 150 people showed up, and the press, and I was getting nervous, okay, I really underestimated this. So I don't know, everyone was there actually. So I had this 2-hour presentation, and after this 2-hour presentation, people were crying and laughing at the same time.
Really?
Where I realized I'm good in doing speeches.
Yeah.
And then the people came and asked me, actually, can we come with you can you bring us on a trip and can you be our safari guide?
Yeah.
And I was like, I can, but I have no experience and I don't have a company, but let me figure this out. So actually the next day I called Sophie, And Sophie's my business partner now. And I met her in the bush.
Yeah.
She was becoming a safari guide. And I called her. I was like, Sophie, you told me if I ever need help, because you have already the tour operator license. Yeah. Now it's the time. And she was like, okay. And I was like, can you organize some trips for me? And she was like, normally we prepare a trip like half a year before. And I was like, yeah, it's in 2.5 months. And she's like, what? Are you kidding? And I was like, I didn't know that we have to plan it beforehand, you know. So she was kind of creating these trips together within a week or so. And then she asked me, like, can I come with? And I was like, yeah, well, I'm going to ask the clients. I was actually happy because I had no clue. I've only seen like a little part of Botswana, but I'm going to drive with them just random. You know, there are no streets. There is nothing really written in Botswana. Yeah. You just drive and you know where the ways or the path is going or the road. Yeah, and then she was like, yeah, and I asked the clients. They said yes. And then I told her and she was like, well, should we found a company? I was like, yeah, why not? I mean, so I literally founded a company with someone I just knew from some days in the bush.
That's amazing.
But I trusted my gut feeling and it felt right. And then 6 weeks later, I was with her in the bush with the first client. That's,
wow, talk about like skyrocketing.
Yeah. And from there on, we were fully booked because word of mouth. We had no website. I only had my presentations and I contacted the medias and I was like, literally, they helped me to spread my story.
Awesome. Wow. So let's talk now about really the lessons of the bush. I mean, I guess to get them really, you have to go there and experience it.
We always include walking and sleep out, even when we have high-end clients.
Okay.
Sometimes I have to convince them. Sometimes they're really like, no, we're not doing that. Of course, you can't like push them. But we always try to bring the client out of their comfort zone. But not in a sense where they're stressed about it. Of course, they're nervous. When I say we do a sleep out and you have a 2-hour shift and then the other one and I'm just sleeping.
So what do you tell to convince somebody to... So explain just a little bit. So you would have one day and one night where... You're not in a car. You'd be walking through the bush.
Yeah,
completely.
Well. Yeah, as
in
well.
the wild.
I mean, we have like we sleep in a luxury tent camp. Then we sleep maybe in a normal tent, but everything is unfenced. Then you can also sleep on top of the car on a rooftop tent. We also offer that we do sleep outs, and that's what I include often. So that's the night where we start driving, and in certain camps they can drive. Actually, I can give them the feeling of really being a safari guide, kind of. Yeah. So they can drive, and then we do the sleep out. We cook. They sleep on the floor. We have shifts, and then often we walk back in the morning, or we walk there. So you start like walking. You walk for 4 hours, and we train them a bit how to walk. What is important? I mean, they're not leading. But it's already enough if they have to walk because they're so nervous. And then you get used to it. And then because it's often a silent walk, you have to be silent. So it's really the time where they realize how vulnerable we are.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of constantly out of your comfort zone out there. And then you sleep out there and you become really part of nature.
Yeah. The first time I felt really this human vulnerability was I was doing scuba diving. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden our guide gets really excited and he's like, he makes the sign for sharks. So we get excited. And these were reef sharks. So normally they're not really aggressive. But they were wondering like, what are these things? And they would come and check us out. And, and they're so big. Yeah. I was thinking, if one of them decides that we're not good, we're finished. Yeah. We're 20 meters underground, and I guess you have the same kind of feeling with this big beast in the bush. Yeah. And how important is confidence in these situations, and what even is confidence?
I think for me, confidence is to know my skills. To know where I'm good, where I lack maybe, and where I have to give my responsibility to someone, or I can have to find my partner. And it's really important, when you're out there to have the right partner with you.
Okay.
That's a game changer. If I can trust you or not.
Somebody who can compliment you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I can trust you, and we can speak without words. So it's really a trust game. And first time in my life I understood what trust really means.
Yeah.
Where you are like depending on the other person with your life. And for me, confidence is really trusting your gut feeling, your instincts. It's a lot about instincts.
Yeah.
And you can't doubt yourself in this situation. You have not a second where you can doubt yourself. So it goes back, I only can trust my gut feeling and instinct because in this moment I have to make a decision. If a lion attacks me, I can only shoot within 10 meters. I mean, shooting is the last thing I want to do. But if I have to, I only have 10 meters and he's running like 20 meters a second. So I only have half a second to make a decision when he's coming.
Oh my God.
So this means I can't think.
Yeah.
So all my moves have to be like here.
Yeah.
And that's what you train. You train it so hard that you can do it even with closed eyes.
Okay.
And that's just, you don't have to then focus on the movement anymore.
Yeah, okay. And
then it's just gut feeling. Okay. And it's feeling the situation, knowing it's really about I feel what is happening.
Yeah. And how do you learn to not get to this point? You know, like if you're being surrounded by, I don't know, has this happened to you?
Yeah.
You're like, you innocent interviewer, of course.
No, sorry. Yeah, it's normal. I mean, first of all, it's about respect. Yeah. I respect the animals and they show me the boundaries. It's not like human beings where they fake and say, it's all good, but it's actually not. And an animal is showing you, okay, that's my first boundary, my second boundary, and that's now too close. So you learn the signs of the animals.
Okay.
You learn the senses, you learn the tracks, you learn the situation. But of course, you can always be wrong.
Okay. So first is respecting their boundaries.
Yeah, and they make the decision.
They make the decision. Okay.
If I approach an animal, I do it step by step, which means meter by meter.
Why would you do that?
Because then you have...
There's a lion, walk the other way.
No, you figure out where is their territory, how they behave.
Okay.
And then you can actually come a bit closer and closer, have a better angle, change the angle a bit. And it's all about the perfect guide or the perfect guiding situation is I'm not interrupting their behavior.
Okay.
Because this goes back to the respect of energy. It's all about energy.
Okay.
If I interrupt them, they have to bring in energy they haven't really calculated. So they use energy to defend themselves when I'm too close.
Right.
So they have to eat earlier. And if they're not going to make it, they die. So I have to be aware that I have an impact with every little move I make.
Right. Okay.
And that's ethical guiding where you're not interrupting their behavior because it's your knowing that you can make their life like.
But are we food for them or never really?
No, I mean it depends which animal. Okay. But actually on the only list of food it's crocodiles. And crocodiles are smart.
We're on the crocodiles list.
Yeah. But lions, we are actually not on their list.
Okay.
It's only if they have eaten or tasted us once they realize they can eat us, and then you have to kill the lions. That's so bad because,
Okay, because then they will just go after. Okay.
Yeah.
But crocodile.
Yes.
They'll love us. Love a good human sandwich.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Is there a lot of crocodiles where you are? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we live. It's the Bostwana. It's the Okavango Delta, which is famous, and it's the delta, the river, and there are a lot of crocodiles and hippos. Yeah.
All right. These are fascinating stories. So what do the people learn when they go on your safaris about themselves, about the world? Like what is the experience you want to give them?
I mean, we want to bring them to a part. I mean, my happy place. I want to show them, of course, and it happens automatically. We don't want to push them, but when you're out there, you're vulnerable. Yeah. Even men, they're out of comfort zone. They have to. I'm leading them because they are not really distracted. There is no technology, nothing, no Wi-Fi, no connection, nothing. They're really coming to a point where in the evening when you sit around the fire, there's a lot of coming up. It's like where they realize what just happened, who they are maybe, or what is their limitation. And when you're out of comfort zone, it's actually the moment where you meet yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful part about it, because we are sometimes so vulnerable and so out of comfort zone, you meet yourself. And sometimes it hurts, sometimes it's nice, but a lot is happening. And that's what happens on the trip and also after. And they realize when we use all the senses and we bring all our knowledge in and they can act and they can understand.
Yeah.
It's the first time where they start to see the world again.
Yeah.
And they can feel it, they can smell it, they feel alive. And they become part of it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And they become a group because they realize we depend on each other. And you act differently to someone or with someone when you know I depend on you or not. And that's the magic what is happening out there. Yeah.
I'm getting goosebumps listening to you. Tell us about your organization where you help women in Botswana. You support them through safari training.
Well, I mean, first of all, we give them financial support, but we don't give them the money. We want to change their life because they make the decision where they want to go. It's not me pushing them. Yeah. They tell me. We create milestone planning, and then we pay the school. We pay maybe the school fee for the kids, so they are more free to actually become a safari guide or a hospitality management school to become a lodge manager. The problem is like 60% of the household in Botswana are single women, and they pay for their kids by themselves. So that's tough. So we have to kind of find the balance where they actually are allowed to follow their dreams in a sense that it's possible with where they're coming from. Yeah. Yeah, that's the main reason. And since we figured out that they are not, I mean, it's not a problem of gender. Yeah. It's more, there are not that many role models. So,
So you're providing role models for them. Okay. Yeah. Inspiring them.
Yeah.
Helping them step into their confidence to become what they want to become.
To use their superpower.
You're a fast learner. So if people want to go on your safaris, where do they find you?
I mean, on Instagram, of course, Isa in the middle.
Yeah.
My real name is Isabelle Tschugmall. It's a bit difficult. Or my companies are Sukari Safari or Moderator Adventures.
All right. Thank you so much, Isa. It was great talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Ciao. If you want to find out more about me, subscribe to my newsletter, book me as a speaker or comedian, visit www.delahaye.com. All the links will be in the show notes. If you have enjoyed this content, please subscribe to the podcast or subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it, or leave a review on iTunes. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time. Until then, take care.